each week. So, who would like to start with your realization? Please start. Others can join in afterwards. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the opportunity. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Moon Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu for organizing these classes and giving us the chance to share our realization, training us, and encouraging us. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Shila Gurudev ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai. So, we are on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 18. I'll recite the verse and then I'll read the translation and purport. ज्योतिषामपि तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् ज्योतिषामपि तमसः परम् उच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् ज्योतिषामपि तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम्. What was known? Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jyotisam, in all luminous objects. Api, also. Tat, that. Jyotihi, source of light. Tamsaha, of the darkness. Param, beyond. Uchyate, is said. Jnanam, knowledge. Geyam, to be known. Jnanagamyam, to be approached by knowledge. Hridi, in the heart. Sarvasya, of everyone. Vishthitam, situated. In all luminous objects also, that source of light of the darkness beyond is said. Knowledge, to be known, to be approached by knowledge, in the heart of everyone situated. Translation. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Purport. The Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon, stars, etc. In the Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, there is no need of sun or moon because the effulgence of the Supreme Lord is there. In the material world, that Brahma Jyoti, the Lord's spiritual effulgence, is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material elements. Therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun, moon, electricity, etc. for light. But in the spiritual world, there is no need of such things. It is clearly stated in the Vedic literature that because of his luminous effulgence, everything is illuminated. It is clear, therefore, that his situation is not in the material world. He is situated in the spiritual world, which is far, far away in the spiritual sky. That is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Aditya Varnam Tamsaha Parasatat. He is just like the sun eternally luminous, but he is far, far beyond the darkness of this material world. His knowledge is transcendental. The Vedic literature confirms that Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. To one who is anxious to be transferred to that spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Supreme Lord who is situated in everyone's heart. One Vedic mantra says, Tamha Devam Tamha Devam Atmabuddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanam Aham Pradaye Prapadaye. One must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he at all wants liberation. As far as the goal of ultimate knowledge is concerned, it is also confirmed in Vedic literature, Tam eva vidhi va tim mrityum eti. Only by knowing you can one surpass the boundary of birth and death. He is situated in everyone's heart as the supreme controller. The Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere, and this cannot be said of the individual soul. Therefore, that there are two knowers of the field of activity, the individual soul and the super soul, must be admitted. One's hands and legs are distributed locally, but Krishna's hands and legs are distributed everywhere. This is confirmed in Shvetashvatra Upanishad. Sarvasya Prabhum Ishanam Sarvasya Sharanam Brihat. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul, is the Prabhu or Master of all living entities. Therefore, he is the ultimate center of all living entities. So, there is no denying the fact that the Supreme Super Soul and the individual soul are always different. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. So, here the more qualities of the super soul has been described by the Lord. First point is that Srila Prabhupada are mentioning that Paramatma is the source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon, stars, and electricity. So this is explained by Srila Prabhupada nicely here, that so we can realize and understand that even in the night at our houses, light bulbs and electricity, all these are coming from the super soul. Srila Prabhupada are saying that we can not see in this material world because Brahma Jyoti is covered by material elements, Mahat Tattva. So we need the assistance of sun, moon, and electricity. But in the spiritual sky, everything is illuminated by effulgence of the Lord. So I have realized that without the super soul, nothing is possible in this material world. He is present everywhere in every atom. This is the vision of a spiritual realized person. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 5 verse 18 says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Suni Cheva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow and an elephant, a dog and a dog eater outcast. So, this transcendental knowledge is also the super soul by which we can realize this fact. This is the next point in this verse. Jnanam, Geyam, and Jnanagamyam. So he is knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the goal of knowledge. We are nothing without Paramatma. In this material world, Guru Maharaj says that it is the Paramatma in our heart who wake us up every morning. So we get all all the strength and power from Paramatma, the super soul, and he's situated in our hearts. So this realization also comes from Paramatma, but when? That's the question. So when we are anxious to be transferred to the spiritual world, this is explained by Srila Prabhupada in this purport. So by just hearing it or listening it is not sufficient. So we need to be anxious to be transferred to the spiritual world. Then this will happen. And because in Bhagavad Gita seed verses also Krishna mentioned this, that he will give the intelligence तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धि yogam tam yena mam upyanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna gives the understanding. That understanding also comes from Paramatma. So the Lord situated in our hearts fulfill our desires. If we desire for sense gratification, then we get the intelligence to do so. But if we desire to come to the Lord, then He gives us the intelligence by which we can come to Him. And then, and this He He dissipate all the darkness of ignorance within the heart. This is uh, the last point, that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart and He knows everything we are desiring, and hiding from others won't work. So this is practical realization that Paramatma in our heart guide us, specially devotees. We experience this when we have gut feeling. Paramatma is talking to us. We need to be more receptive. And that is another point, that Paramatma or the super soul incarnation is out of Sat Chit. So it's a Chit. So it's of eternal knowledge. As Srila Prabhupada also they're saying that Brahman, concentrated Brahman, or transcendental knowledge is Paramatma. So that realization is Paramatma realization. But again, I realize that it is not that easy. We have to be more receptive and more anxious to be transferred to spiritual world. Then it will happen. So these are the points that I have realized for me. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Ambrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purnya Pagna Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Sambarmat Keshu Prabhu for arranging these classes and giving us opportunity to show our knowledge. Oh, I'm kidding. Okay, so this verse, we know the background. Krishna is talking about super soul systematically. The verse is Jyoti Samapita Jyotis Tamasaha Paramuchyate Jnanam Geyam Jnanagamyam Hridi Sarvasya Visthitam Jyotisamapi Tat Jyotis Tamasaha Paramuchyate Jnanam Geyam Jnanagamyam Hridi Sarvasya Visthitam. Translate purport and Vishla. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. So Krishna is explaining the constitutional position of super soul. Thank you, Sanju Prabhu, for very nicely covering many points, very important points. And he's basically answering questions asked by Arjuna in the beginning. So what stand out for me in this verse, this is impossible to cover this important verse or such kind of important verse in 10 minutes of realization. There's so much into it. So Jnanam Geyam Jnana Gamyam. This knowledge to be known, to be approached by knowledge. Yeah, and Hriday Sarvatsa Visthitam. And it is in your heart. She is situated in your heart, your heart. And then Prabhupada in the translation writes that his object of his knowledge means super soul relation is knowledge. So that's knowledge point I'm focusing because that's I've been talking many times. And his object of knowledge and is the goal of knowledge. So what is the difference between object of knowledge and goal of knowledge? So with my thinking, I would understand, but I would like Amrishpo to probably clarify on this. His object of knowledge means object of knowledge is what I understand. What is the object of this job you are doing? Also, what? So it is the what is this knowledge? Krishna, the super soul. So I understand object means what, and is the goal of knowledge means why this knowledge, why you want to do this, what's your goal, and that what and why are the very important. Entire Bhagavatam is full of this discussion among the devotees, among those great personalities. And I've got few verses and few bits and pieces which has come to my study before, which I would like to share. That what is this knowledge and what is the object of knowledge and goal of knowledge? We understand all those things, yeah, that how to actually practice and devotional service. But we are also preachers. No, we are trying to practice preaching so that people understand that we have studied, and what is our preaching is basically repeating words. Means we don't manufacture anything, we don't create anything. So that's why it's very important that we refer to Prabhupada's nectarian purports. So the first thing I would like to refer is that previous verse we have studied about the knowledge, as 13.8 to 12, where Krishna is telling us, I'm not going, that's a big verse which I'm not going to read, and well, I'll only refer to the points which I have highlighted. Is Krishna says in the translation, in the Prabhupada writes in the translation that Krishna is saying that all this I declare it to be knowledge, and beside this, whatever there may be is ignorance. And then Prabhupada very nicely explained this, because without Prabhupada's purport, these verses I cannot understand. I don't know about others, but this is beyond my capacity. And even Prabhupada's purport cannot be understood unless we discuss with devotees or we get some guidance. So he writes about the knowledge. The process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent man as being the interaction of the field of activity. This is very important. That's where I'm going to refer the same thing from the Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada writes in a very nicely that what is this less intelligent man Prabhupada is talking about. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. Prabhupada emphatically saying this is the knowledge, this is the process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, we know about those 18 qualities, If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. This is not the interaction of the 24 elements, as described before. What a clarification. Only Prabhupada can write like this. This is actually the means to get out of the entanglement of those elements. The embodied soul is entrapped by the body, which is a casing made of the 24 elements. And the process of knowledge, as described here, is the means to get out of it. So this is why we are getting this knowledge, what we are trying to understand. Of all the description of the process of knowledge, the most important point is described in the first line of 11th verse, Mai Chananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharini, which Prabhupada writes. The process of knowledge that terminates in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. So as Amrish Prabhu many times say that, yeah, we are not this body with this soul. We are simple. We are Krishna conscious now, which once you enter. But as a practicing students of scriptures and trying to preach and trying to guide people, we have to understand the science behind it. And this is very nicely Prabhupada writes about the process of knowledge, which Krishna is talking in this verse. Now, the Other very important same thing about the knowledge, where Kapil Maharaj also talking about the knowledge, which I have also referred many times, is what is knowledge? Knowledge is the ultimate perfection of self-realization. I say, explain that knowledge unto you by which the knots of attachment to the material world are cut. This is from the Canto 3, chapter 26. The knowledge is the ultimate perfection of self-realization. That's what we are all practicing. All the activities we are doing, anxiety, being anxious, being inquisitive, whatever we are doing, purity is all we are trying to realize. Knowledge is the ultimate perfection knowledge, and I shall explain the knowledge unto you by which the knots of attachment to the material worlds are cut. That same thing Prabhupada writes in the purport of that chapter 13, verse 8 and 12, that the process of knowledge. And then very nicely Kapil Maharaj goes step by step. And again, it culminates in the super soul, taking charge of that, and then how the life is created and things happen. So that's again realization. Self-realization is our focus. If this is not the focus, then it's waste of time. That's my realization. And then in chapter 2 of Bhagavad, Canto 1, again, this knowledge has been very nicely Prabhupada translate. One of the verses which Suta Goswami is saying is, again, we have referred this many times, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate bhagavad tattva vijnanam. That's what we are after. All those drama which I am doing or we are doing is only to realize this. Whether somebody is doing or not doing is not important, whether we are realizing or not. The translation is like this. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by the contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Again, devotional service, unalloyed devotional service, and how we get this knowledge, which Krishna is very nicely telling Arjuna in chapter 13 about super soul. This knowledge is so important, and more I study, more I go to the scriptures, more I listen to Srila Prabhupada, I feel that this life is too small and this knowledge is knowledge is actually endless. It's beyond our capacity to get it. And now in Bhagavatam, in Canto 2, in chapter 10, Prabhupada writes about this knowledge, something very interesting, and which probably you all might have read or heard this before, but I would like to repeat that point. And in this chapter is again super soul and all those things is Sukadeva Goswami is talking. And this verse, the translation is like this: after appearing the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, that is Mahavishnu, which came out of the causal ocean, the place of appearance for the first Purush avatar, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental water, that is Garbhodaka. So this lot of verses and explanation happening here. I'll come to the point. What Prabhupada is writing the purport, and this is very important and very interesting. And few lines. After analysis of the living entities and the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, the independent source of all other living beings, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is now presenting the primary necessity for devotional service to the Lord, which is the only occupational business of all living entities. The Supreme Lord Krishna and all his plenary portions and extensions of plenary portions are non-different from one another, and thus the supreme independence is in each and every one of them. In order to prove this, Sukadeva Goswami has promised to King Parikshit describes herein the independence of Purusha Avatar, personality of Godhead, even in the sphere of the material creation. Such activities of Lord are also transcendental, and therefore they are also Leela or pastimes of the absolute Lord. So this is, I'm just giving the background. Now come to the main point about this knowledge, the knowledge, and we get the knowledge or we understand the knowledge or realize the knowledge based on our own level of surrender. This is Bhagavad Gita again, ye yathamam prapadyate, tam chaiva bhajamyam. So again, this knowledge is same knowledge but realized and practiced at a different level. That we all understand very nicely. Now, Prabhupada answering to those materialistic about this knowledge, which I highlighted, which I'm going to share. And such pastimes, the Lord, are very conducive to the hearts, hearers for self-realization in the field of devotional service. But some men argue, Prabhupada writes, then why not release the transcendental Leela of the Lord as exhibited in the land of Mathura and Vrindavan, which are sweeter than anything in the world? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies that the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan are meant to be realized by the advanced devotees of the Lord. Very clear. Neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental activities of the Lord, and therefore the Lord's pastime in the material sphere related to creation, maintenance, and destructions are verily realized by the Prakrita or mundane devotees of the Lord. This is what I realized, and this is come to my study, realization that even this creation, maintenance, and destruction, which we study so often or we teach, it is for the mundane devotees, prakritas. So if we are going to become serious, then probably we have to keep progressing and keep understanding and be inquisitive, as we all understand. And then Prabhupada writes further here, as the yoga system mainly based on bodily exercise is meant for the person who is too much attached to the bodily conception of existent, similarly the Lord pastime related to the creation and destruction of the material world are for those who are too materially attached. That same thing in chapter 8, purport, right? For such mundane creatures, the function of the body and the function of the cosmic world through physical laws, its relationship with the Lord are also therefore included in the understanding of lawmaker, the supreme of Godhead. The scientists explain the material function by so many technological terms of material law, but such blind scientists forget the lawmaker. The Srimad Bhagavatam points out the lawmaker. One should not be amazed by the mechanical arrangement of the complicated engine or dynamo, but one should praise the engineer who creates such a wonderful working machine. This is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotees. Devotees are always full with praising the Lord who directs the physical laws. So what I'm coming to that, okay, we have to know this, we have to understand. That's why we understand Sankhya philosophy, the creation, the destruction, the annihilation, and all those things. But probably as a serious devotee, if we want to be serious, we have to probably find a way so that we can actually not remain at that level. We have to keep progressing, and that's up to us that how we do it. And now I understand that why Amrish Prabhu is only focusing on, he never talks about scriptures, never talks about these things. You all know this, or maybe you had understood from Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, that we only focusing on how to improve our devotional service, how do you improve our devotional service, how you become serious, how you actually progress onto this. And that's the starting point, and probably that is the end point also. So that's what I realized, and that's I wanted to share, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for a wonderful realization. You have got very, very important points. It's very nice, very heartening. Hare Krishna. So, before I say most of the points you have covered, I'll just pick some pointers, But there was Avinash who wanted to ask me some question. Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Yes, Prabhuji, I wanted some clarification. I've understood, but I think I've not understood correctly.
Yes. And the thing is, Babaji, could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, Prabhu. In the translation, Prabhupada writes, he's the object of his knowledge, he's the object of knowledge, and he's the goal of knowledge. So I have defined this object of knowledge and goal of knowledge in a materialistic way, his knowledge. So that's, I wanted to clarify that if my understanding is correct.
Sorry, what is the understanding again, please? Sorry.
The object of knowledge means what is the object of doing this job? So what? Knowledge means what is Krishna? What is the super soul? That's what I understood. The object, when you start doing devotional activity, what is object of knowledge means what is this knowledge? And is the goal of knowledge means what is your goal in doing this task? Why you are doing this? So I put it in a what and why, Prabhu. Sorry, I probably make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gnanam, Gneyam, and Gnana Gamyam. These are the words. Gnanam, Gneyam, Gnana Gamyam. The third line. So Gnanam means knowledge. Gneyam means to be known. Gnana Gneyam means to be approached by knowledge. So Prabhupada writes here that he is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is known, he is knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. So this particular verse in this translation has got many, many elements. So let us understand these elements. So he's the source of light in all luminous objects is one part, number one. Second, he is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. The second. This is a very important point consideration. Okay, second point is very, very important. So if we understand the second point, then we come to the third point, that he is knowledge, he is object of knowledge, and he's the goal of knowledge. And the fourth is he's situated in everyone's heart. So all the four different elements are mentioned here. Now, if Krishna is beyond the darkness of matter, matter is dark, as Prabhupada explains in the purport, then in the spiritual world, darkness doesn't exist. Because one of the things which Krishna cannot do or cannot see is that he cannot see darkness. Because he's light. So here it is mentioned that he is beyond the darkness of matter. Matter is dark. It is said that the Brahmajyoti is covered by the Mahat Tattva. The second and third canto, this is clearly explained nicely. And he is unmanifested. Means he doesn't manifest. That means what he exists, but beyond, Hare. Now, we come to answering your question. So he is not existing here in the material world. Although in the fourth line it is mentioned as Paramatma, he is sitting in everyone's heart. That is correct. But to approach him, it is just like he is the knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, means by knowledge you can achieve him. So process is him. What is it? Is him. And then after that, the goal of knowledge, that means to understand him. So just like we say that the sun, those who are understanding, those who understanding is that of only Brahmajyoti realization. They may think that the sun is God because the rays are very powerful. The rays are God. It will take away water from Ma Ganga also and from a urine also. But when the when the rain falls, excuse me, everything is pure water. It sucks all dirt from the earth, and when the rain comes, everything is pure. So this rays are pure, are God. So there is Brahmajyoti realization. Then those who understand a bit more, they say that the sun rays are coming from the sun disk. So there is knowledge, and this is the object of knowledge. The sun, example, is the object of knowledge. We are trying to attain Krishna. And then there is those who understand Bhagavan realization, who understands the nature of God, as we discussed, that God, yes, the rays are coming from the sun. So sun is God. Those who understand Paramatma, they come to this conclusion that the rays is God, yes, but Bhagavan, Brahman, and the Paramatma is also God. So here the sun is also God. But those who are devotees of Krishna, they realize that, okay, that's right. The rays are not partial to anybody. Sun is the source of it, but what is the nature of God? That is this point Prabhupada giving. His knowledge, his object of knowledge, means to achieve is Krishna, object of knowledge. And the goal of knowledge means we have to achieve that. So what is it? As you correctly said, what? Krishna. How to achieve? Knowledge. But Krishna and understand his nature is a concept of goal of knowledge. So this is a Bhagavan realization. This Prabhupada writes this in the same analogy. Yeah. So if you go to see, technically speaking, this information that is given, Bhagavad Krishna is giving this information in the Bhagavad Gita. So this information says, yes, this is the material world, there is a spiritual world, I live there, and I also exist in the material world as Paramatma. Full stop. And I'm the source of all luminous objects. There's nothing spiritual about this. This knowledge of how the material world functions and what Krishna is doing in the material world. And what are we doing in the material world? So for many times, Guru Maharaj would always say this many times, that Bhagavad Gita is preliminary work we can discuss in the evenings. It's not too heavy subject. Bhagavatam is we discuss in the morning, heavy subject. I don't understand that only. The Bhagavad Gita is, but this is the point that I'm realizing, that Bhagavad Gita talks about the material elements interacting and the spirit soul, which is the superior element, which is trapped in this material world by our own karmic reactions. And with the super soul, with the spirit soul, super soul also exists. He's not trapped, but voluntarily comes. As long as the soul is attached to the material body, the soul is existing with the material body, different material bodies. He's not the material body, but different material bodies. And the super soul is existing with the soul wherever soul goes in different bodies. So nothing spiritual about this. This information. Now, once we understand this information, then when we apply this information, then we understand why to love God. So that why is a goal of knowledge. What is Krishna? That is object of knowledge. How is knowledge? Through knowledge we must achieve. And the goal of knowledge is Krishna himself. And why we should love him. When we are able to crack this, why we should love Krishna, then our real bhakti begins. Till the time it is sadhana bhakti. We are studying, we are chanting, we are performing arti, we are victims of our own senses, whether we like it or not. whether we admit or not. But when we crack open our own heart to understand why we should love Krishna, we should all be asking this question: why should we love Krishna? And that Krishna, why? Then we understand the goal of what is all this purpose. And then for that reason, then everything falls into place, that what are the gopis doing, how they accrued it. And when Krishna was personally present, this is how they manifested. That is the reason why Vrindavan pastimes are not readily discussed. You see? We say things, yes, we are okay. We mentioned this about gopis, how they love and all those things. But it is, even that is very confidentially closed. Because that is the why aspect of things. And Krishna is voluntarily to be loved. Nobody can force to love Krishna. He doesn't like it only. So till the time we are not able to answer the why we should love Krishna, we are in the what and how. So Krishna reveals himself, no doubt about it. He's very kind and he wants it. But the sooner we come to the why, that is why, if all of us are with Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, then this is the secret, open secret. That is why we say only pure devotional service has to be performed. Guru Maharaj says this. Only pure devotion. So we implement all these things. Then we say when we face material problems, we do not see how much hard work in so much speed, galloping speed, the Paramatma along with Guru Maharaj are working hard to remove our shortcomings, inabilities, and solve our problems. So we are back to our non-destructive thinking in bhakti. The moment we face any material problems we are distracted from bhakti. So Krishna is working very hard with Guru to remove that. We don't realize it. In galloping speed, they do so. Not just simply, okay, let us do this for him. No, galloping speed. How do we move fast? Now, what do we do? Once the problem is solved, we are back to sense gratification. Or we are not serious. We are facing problem, we are very serious. Problem is solved, we are not that serious. You see, there is our difficulty. And there also Krishna understands and Guru Maharaj understands. The material world is like this. Mahatattva covers the Brahma Jyoti. So it is impossible for a jiva to actually be illumined from within. There is a reason why it is said that the material world is covered by Mahatattva, which stops the Brahma Jyoti from coming into the material world. Everything is darkness. Science also says 99% of the whole world is dark. Full dark, they say. But as super soul in the heart, when we are talking to the super soul, then as Bhagavad Gita mentions that the 9 gates of the body are illumined. Krishna says this. Those self-realized, his 9 gates are illumined. These are all the 9 gates are our working senses. All this material body, they are illumined. So the Brahma Jyoti enters into those individual souls, into bodies. They are illumined. So although Mahatattva covers the material world, is darkness. But still, Paramatma situated in the heart reveals knowledge, and that jiva works hard to receive that knowledge and attains Krishna. That's attaining Krishna. That's a goal of Krishna, goal of knowledge, to attain Krishna. When that is done, then is all 9 bodies, nine parts of the body are illumined. Eyes, nose, ears, anus, genitals, all these are illumined completely. You see? So this is the glorious position of Krishna. This is how we must understand Krishna practically. To say, yes, the Prabhupada trying to say, material world is covered in darkness, so Brahmajyoti cannot enter in. Material world is full of darkness only. So how do we survive? How do we gain Krishna consciousness? We require a guru. To do what? Gain knowledge. Right, that's what is happening here. And then what happens? We implement the knowledge. And then what happens? From sadhana bhakti, the faster we come to the prema bhakti, then real bhakti begins. Liberation comes at after stage and then prema bhakti comes. See? So the why needs to be answered. It's a very important question. Why should we love Krishna? And don't think it is so easy. It's very difficult for me. I'm struggling with this. It's so simple. Why should I love Krishna? It's simple. Why not? Well, then if it is why not, then why am I not being attached to him 24 hours? So still the why is not answered. So if one thing we must learn from today's discussion, there is this why. Yeah? So I think I should stop my realization. I wanted to make this pointer. And Avinash, did it answer your question? Does it clarify your point?
Very nicely, bro. Thank you very much. Very nicely.
Jai Shila Gurudev ki jai. Everything right, everything good is by the mercy of Guru Maharaj. All wrong is because of me. That is why I keep praying to Maharaj that please speak through my power of speech, my thinking. So only right thing happens. Wrong thing doesn't happen. And we are illumined, all of us, wonderfully. Okay? Wonderful. Okay, if anyone wants to say anything, please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This topic of why love
Yes.
Krishna? The simple answer is because we want to go back to Godhead. But I feel that is also very ritualistic. No, we just say it.
It is a wrong answer.
It's a wrong
It's a
answer.
selfish answer. It's a completely selfish answer.
Yes, yes.
No, I'm not saying your answer is selfish. I'm saying this point. That's why sometimes we discuss in the program, that pure devotional service leads to devotional service only. Devotional going back to God becomes incremental because devotional service is illumined. What will you do in Godhead? Exactly, devotional service. Yes, wonderful.
And you don't have to go back to Godhead to do devotional service. You can do devotional service anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is the point.
yeah. And the other thing is that the point I was sharing that the prakrita, no mundane devotee realization about creation, maintenance, and all those things. That's not people discuss most of the time because it's not easy topic also. That's also very difficult. I find it very difficult. And the other thing is that we become so ritualistic in doing bhakti that we forget the crux of the matter, that getting the why, the prema bhakti. That's I don't know whether I'm making sense or not because
No, that's correct. That is correct.
yeah,
But then again, this will come. It manifests in the heart automatically. It cannot be artificially done. There's a little challenge here, this point. Because if otherwise neophytes also we start to say, why should we become formatted? We don't have formatted. We just become to conversion with Krishna. That's not how it is done. I have seen it. Not everything I can reveal, but I've seen this. Actually, I've seen this. Physically, I've seen this in close proximity. How a pure devotee behaves, the formality doesn't remain.
yes, even Prabhupada shared this realization and writes in purport that when you are at that level, yeah, I understand. But that cannot be artificially done. I was listening to some lecture, I don't know you heard, that some devotee, Haridas Thakur, he said, I want to be like Haridas Thakur. I said, you cannot be like Haridas Thakur. He will chant so many rounds entire day. But if you chant round for 15 minutes and after that either you tired or you go to sleep. So yeah, so that's absolutely right, bro. That's absolutely right. I agree with you.
Yeah, the rasa has to change. The rasa has to come. Just like somebody's in love, they talk only about that person. That's how it is. That's how it is. So, and only this point is given only by Krishna. See, in the seventh canto, what Prahlad Maharaj is talking about, Puna Puna Charvita Charvana Nam, there was a reference, it's a very beautiful reference, It was in one of the tantras in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Um, it was very, very wonderful discussion. This was. Just hold on, please. Let me just see if I can find it. I made some notes somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so here it is. Gnana Gnanatah Sulabha Muktir Bhuktir Yagnadi Punyatah Seyam Sadhana Sahasre Hari Bhakti Sudurlabha. So now this particular verse is in one of the tantras, but it is also in the Bhakti Rasa Sindhu, is from Tantra Vachana, this verse. So now see, the last line is very important, but I will go through the translation directly. There's a lack of time. So by cultivating philosophical knowledge, one can understand his spiritual position and thus be liberated. So this is how spiritual knowledge, the role is there. This is what it does. Now, by performing sacrifices and pious activities, one can achieve sense gratification in a higher planetary system. Second point. Third is, but the devotional service of the Lord is so rare, even by executing hundreds and thousands of such sacrifices, one cannot obtain it. So this is the why part. Everything else is available for us. So whenever you get a chance, whenever you feel, oh, this material, this heavenly planets are so nice, I want to go there, you'll experience that. Don't go into the trap. Don't get into the trap. The mind will say, but you do not know spiritual world. Golok, you have no idea. Here I can see it. What the material, the heavenly planets are. So beautiful. You'll be completely lured. Like in that movie. What is that movie? Lord of the Rings, my precious. The ring. Exactly how we will feel. Please don't feel trapped. Do not feel trapped. You say, no, I don't want it. I do not want it. I do not want it. I do not want it. Go for the unknown. This is Golok, because in Golok, Vaikuntha planets are completely aloof of material world. You see, totally aloof. And this aloofness is something which we are going to attain, which knowledge is not available in the material world. That is the reason why you require a pure devotee to give this knowledge from the spiritual world, who understood it by scriptures and speaking like this. So this is the point. This is exactly what the points are. And Prakrit Bhaktas, they will be caught into this, and I'm happy with this, going to the either heavenly planets or getting spiritual knowledge. I'm very satisfied by it. But Prema Bhakti is very, very different. See, we understand about the gopis, we speak about the gopis, but gopis are not big philosophers. Although they had all philosophical knowledge. You see, sometimes when you get a chance, we must discuss about Uddhava. Uddhava is meeting the gopis. And why did Krishna send Uddhava? The hidden reasons behind it. Wonderful. Very, very wonderful. So this has to be done, the why part of it. And that is the last part here. But devotional service of the Lord is so rare that even by executing hundreds and thousands of sacrifices, one cannot obtain it. Sayam sadhana sahasre. Hari bhakti sudurlabha. Yes. So you are very correct at this point. I just want to give this reference also. Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada Maharaj says in the 7th canto, 35, Puna Puna Charita Charana Nam. And very beautifully Prabhupada mentions it in the purport, that only pure devotee, a pure devotee can take you back to this knowledge. It's not possible to get. It's impossible. It's impossible to get this knowledge. Yeah. And we have to serve the pure devotee. Serve the lotus, dust on the lotus feet of pure devotee. So again, foolish people will say, oh, I must find a pure devotee and serve the feet. What feet you will serve? Lotus dust, I'll take the lotus dust on the feet and put it in my head. Right. Foolish, number one. Although I've done that also, all the time I also do it. But main thing is serving. Instructions. What are the instructions? You are doing. Yeah. Jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, I hope if anyone has to say anything, please feel free.
Thank you, Amrish. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll wait for 10 more seconds. Okay, Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai.
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai.
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Sri
Jai.
Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Lord Chandra Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Oh,
Chant and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.